Flyers post-game show as the losing has continued. Now an eighth straight defeat for the Philadelphia Flyers. This in the front end of a home and home with the New York Islanders' first trip to the new building. And unfortunately, they come out with a loss, a 4-1 final in this game. And, Flyers had a good second period, but just could not follow it up in the third. And ultimately only able to get one goal in this game. And oddly enough, it comes off the shoulder of Noah Dobson. So the scoring struggles play a big part of it.
Yeah, this is one of those games that really, in the grand scheme of things, you look at it and it should have been a shutout for Ilya Sorokin. It should have been one of those games where the Flyers had good chances. Unfortunately, most of them at 5-on-5, and the goaltender just had a fantastic game. The only reason it wasn't is that fluke goal off of Noah Dobson's shoulder. Where the Flyers really can look at this one and wish they had some of it back was the power play opportunities.
Yep.
4 power play opportunities and not really. I'm not sure there was a scoring chance on them. It was almost that they actually played better in their shorthanded situations than they did on their power play. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but it's one of those things that when things are going the way they are, you can't afford to not cash in on opportunities like that. If you are playing well and you're getting things done 5-on-5, you're cashing in opportunities there, you can afford to maybe have a bad night on the power play. But that's not where this team is right now, unfortunately. So that probably ends up being the biggest thing that they would want to have back.
Yeah, I mean, they come into this game tonight 25th in the NHL on the power play, clicking at 16.4%. Let's just put that in perspective real quick, because the top team on the power play is actually the Edmonton Oilers, so they can put McDavid and Draisaitl out there on the ice, and they're clicking at 30.3%, almost twice the percentage of the Flyers.
Yeah,
at this point in the season.
And that to me, that number is a little misleading too, because that 16.4% is there because they were 4 for 11 in the first 4 games.
Yep.
They were lights out there for the beginning of the season, and then they started to come back around a little bit in early December. But during that stretch that included the first 10-game winless streak, and it was a run of about 17 or 18 games where the Flyers were averaging about 1.9 goals per game. During that stretch, the power play was about 9.6%, and that's over an 18-game span. That's not just a road trip or a couple of weeks there. That was a long time. So, the power play this year has struggled. Obviously, it was part of what was behind the shakeup of the coaching staff in early December. I mean, the power play, we talked about it at the time. It was like we were watching the power play not do well. And, when we got to the point where we thought, okay, it's got to get better from here, it would actually get worse.
Yeah.
That had kind of stopped for a while. I don't know whether to think of tonight as a one-off or if something more is afoot here. They are missing a couple of fairly key power play folks, but it is something that it's got to be fixed in order for the rest of the year to at least have some semblance of competitiveness to it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the elements of the power play too was, the replacement from Shane Gostisbehere to Keith Yandel as that third pairing defenseman, but power play specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And while Yandel got off to a good start, it's been not good since.
Right.
And the power play has struggled, and it just has never found its footing with any kind of consistency this entire season. And power play 1 to power play 2. I mean, Ryan Ellis would have been a guy probably playing power play 2. And when Yandel struggled, he maybe would have moved into that role. But all said and done in this game, Flyers get outshot in the third, 11-6. So they got shot in the first, 13-8. Then they outshot the Islanders in the second, 13-7. Played a good period, and then got outshot in the third, 11-6. And like I said, 31-27 game total. The shots, and really the Islanders' scoring chances, or the Islanders, where they had their success in this game was by getting the puck, to that high danger spot around the Flyers' net and creating a lot of traffic, and they made it really difficult on Martin Jones by being able to get to that real estate with the puck and with bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. And the the goal that kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, the third goal. The Flyers, again, you got to bear down there and be a little bit a little bit more physical, I guess, in that situation. I did see a lot of folks, uh, you know, classify it as puck watching. We've had the benefit of replay and things like that, and Joel Farabee does try to clear the puck away. He just stand on it. If he gets
Puck
that
was bouncing like a racquetball.
yeah, if he gets the puck, that doesn't happen. But I guess in that situation, you want to try to maybe lean into the player next to you a little bit as well, and try to impede him while you try to clear it. It was fairly clear that everybody involved was surprised to see the puck end up where it did. It was
for Beauvillier, right?
It was in a fairly safe spot at the time, and then all of a sudden, bang, it wasn't. But it's again one of those things where it's more magnified, obviously, by the fact that Sorokin was as good as he was tonight. If the Flyers are able to cash in on him like it's a normal goaltending night, then maybe that goal, that goal cuts a multi-goal lead down to 1 or something like that. But unfortunately here, it's what put the game out of reach.
And that goal that you're talking about is the Beauvillier goal to give them the 3-1 lead. And to me, there's so many plays within this sequence that were the self-fulfilling prophecy of trying to, when things are bad, it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy to have one of these moments in a game. And there's just too many casual plays on this one goal sequence. First, it's the chip into the zone, and Sanheim just turns it over. Now,
Right.
Provorov does a good job of racing that and gets the puck up the boards. But then it's, I think it's, I'm trying to think who grabbed it off the boards. Is that Bailey, I think, that comes down? No, it's Nelson.
Yes.
And he's a big man.
Yeah.
And, everybody's reaching with their sticks to try and dislodge the puck from him. But a guy like Bailey, like, you got to look at his chest. Everybody's reaching and doing, you can see me, Brian, because you're on the video, like reaching with their stick and not getting up to his body and bodying him off and riding him to the outside. And the puck's bouncing around. And there's, like you said, there's so much watching. It's frustrating because the turnover shouldn't have happened that began it. And then the casual play of too many players on the ice subsequently puts it right on the tape of Beauvillier's stick.
Yeah.
And he bangs it home.
And it's the reaching, right, that causes the penalty to be called in the first place,
which is delayed, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 Flyers right there. He's able to power right through them, and again, it's just a matter of getting around their stick. I don't know whether it was either Sanheim or Farabee that was going to get the penalty. I'm not sure which one. Both of their sticks were right there, so the official could have taken his pick, but that's a great point that somebody somewhere needs to come in and get the body on him, whether or not, like, Provorov's coming up the wall and he stops.
He reaches in and then stops.
Yeah. And then Beauvillier or rather Nelson cuts right in behind him, and just like that, he's out of the play.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those intangible bear down situations, if you will, that you want to get a guy in there and just get a little more body on him, rather than, like Coatsy said, it's very hard to have success by stick checking in this league without any sort of physical impediment, if you will.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe Provorov puts on the brakes there because he doesn't want to get a trip and he's kind of coming towards his legs in a way, but you have your upper body to disrupt him and disrupt his path to the net. And again, it was just that can't happen. And this, you're not making it hard for your opponent. That's the problem. You're not making them earn the real estate, that real estate especially, which is, I mean, look where he is as he goes right into the high slot. He's at the side of the net. And you got to make that real estate, like, if you're going to come to this spot in our zone, there is a price to pay. This is like the double. It's like getting a speeding ticket in a working zone, right? It's double the cost.
Right.
That's what entering that area of the ice should be. And you can't let guys just go in there while you're stick checking them in a 1-goal hockey game and there's just too many of these plays. And maybe look, maybe part of it, Bry, is a lack of confidence and resolute to what you're doing. That there's already a delayed penalty call. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know, but
and
something sure, it's just not
and I just saw, excuse me, I just saw something too that Mikey O is talking to the media as we speak, and that goal happened about 5 minutes into the third period, and again, that's Sanheim and Provorov on the ice together. They were paired on the top pairing today, and
Mhm.
we had been talking about, okay, how do you get Cam York in the lineup? Well, one of the ways, the main way to do it is to get Sanheim, out on the right side. And so, I think we were uh, perhaps in concert with the coaching staff thinking the same thing, because they've been, Mike Yo has said here in post-game press conference, they've been trying to get Sanheim and Provorov together for the last few games, but the chemistry has not been there. And at some point after that, I couldn't tell you exactly where. I'm trying to check the shift charts right now to see what the change was, but they did split them up.
Yeah.
They started running the rest of the third period with some different looks, and again, that could be part of it on a play like that. That just the chemistry between those two is not there, and that may be the kind of thing that leads to a goal like that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, that's just such an important part of the ice.
Yeah,
And to be going in there with that reaching and that stick thing, and I mean, it's just not a hard play. And when you're a team that's struggling and you've lost 7 straight, you got to control what you can control and bad bounces and all that. And look, it's hockey. We get it. They're chasing around a vulcanized piece of rubber on ice with skates on their feet. And but there's certain things you can't control, and that's being a pain in the rear end to play against
yeah,
and
yeah.
being hard on the puck and hard on plays. And that was a poster child for not hard on plays.
And then I'm looking at, I'm backing up. I'm backing up on this play a little bit more, and the whole thing starts because, the Islanders get the puck in deep from the blue line. Oliver Wahlstrom chips it deep, and the first person there is Sanheim. Now Sanheim
Hmm.
is coming at this point to the left side of the ice, and so Provorov, who's already over there, but is out of Sanheim's in a better position to get there because Provorov tried to step up on Wahlstrom,
Yep.
and now Provorov cuts behind Sanheim to go behind the net, and Sanheim tries to get him the puck, but Wahlstrom reads it exceptionally well and beats Provorov to it, sends it up the wall, and that's what starts everything from there on out. And again, it's hard to get a read on just one play if that's a chemistry issue or whatever. But Sanheim, again, he's probably in a position there where he's difficult either way because again, Wallstrom makes a good read on it, but if he reverses course and goes outside and up the near wall, then that puck is likely going to get out to center because Giroux was the only one in the vicinity there. So
Yeah.
it's a couple of things that lead to a breakdown that ends up being one that doesn't look very good in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that'll be in the video session prior to tomorrow's game between these two teams again. And look, I'm not oblivious to the fact that we saw this last year when you're constantly changing D partners, there is a chemistry issue that belies itself because you're playing with a different guy every night, and you know Sandheim's on a different side of the ice, and he's playing with a different partner tonight, and there was obviously poor communication there. He doesn't know, is Provorov going to peel off to the right side of the net, or is he going to go behind and support the play that way? And that's part of it, but that is what it is. And when the turnover happens, it really, turnovers are going to happen, and plays like that from Sandheim are going to happen. It's what happened after that
Yeah,
disturbs me. You
yeah.
know. So, all right, let's take a break. Let's collect. Let's collect ourselves. We'll take a exhale, and we'll come back with more here on the post game show. That's Brian Smith. I'm Jason Martinez. Quick timeout. We're back on the Flyers post game show on the BetRivers.com Flyers broadcast network. Oy, 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 oy.
Yeah, I
I'm not
can't
even going to send
tell.
it away on the stream. I'm just going to put an earbud in.
I can't tell for sure where the what the defensive pairings turned into.
Yeah. It's impossible to keep track of all this.
15-28.
And you don't know if it was just like a shift because somebody got dinged up or somebody had a double shift.
I couldn't have told you that they split them up if he hadn't said it after the game. I mean, from where we're watching, it's really kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know, 15-28. Nope.
Maybe that was the moment because he did seem to get Ristolainen out there a little bit more, didn't he?
Yeah. He
So
played.
maybe that's where Risto played over 15 minutes.
Yeah, 14-17. He played. Where is it?
Yeah, 15:02, 45 seconds shorthanded.
Played 4:52 in the first, 5:44 in the second, 4:26 in the third.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean the second he got. The shifts were the same, 8-7-7. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean Sanheim and Provorov each played, within 10 seconds of each other. 25 minutes and 14 seconds for Provorov, 25:04 for Sanheim. Braun played 15:31. Risto played 15:02. Yandel 13:28, and York played 20:56.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
20:56. Wow.
Yeah, and he gets 4 minutes on the power play. 4:02, and Yandel had 3:58 on the power play. That's amazing. Ay. I don't know. I just don't know.
It looks like Sanheim might have moved to play with York. That's the closest I can match up to the start time of their shift. Well, no, that's so Sanheim changed for York at 16:52, so that wouldn't be right. I don't know. It's needle in a haystack a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man.
We only have so much data.
So frustrating.
Well, hopefully they're angry tomorrow.
In that shift on that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back at it tomorrow.
It's the only
Thursday, Columbus.
The only good thing about a game like tonight is that you have tomorrow to get it right out of your system.
Here we go. And we're back live as the post-game show with Brian Smith and Jason Martinez. Flyers fall to the New York Islanders. First matchup of the year between these two teams, who, of course, played 8 times last year. Isles went to a conference final last 2 years, but they've only played now 31 games, have the Islanders, but they get the 2 points tonight, and that'll be an opportunity tomorrow because the Flyers and the Islanders will do it all again, but this time at Wells Fargo Center. Flyers have this opportunity to end this winless skid. Right? I'm like racking my brain. I don't know where to look. You would know where to look. You're way better at this stuff. So I will give you an assignment for tomorrow.
Okay.
Find me a team that had 2 10-game winless skids in the first half of a season.
Yeah, that would be hard to find.
Such an uplifting assignment for you.
I bet the Detroit Red Wings did it a couple of years ago.
Did they, you think?
Well, I mean, they only won like
who would have heard of it?
So you can only have unless you really ding those 16 games right at the right time. You can only go so many.
But in the first half, did they have 2? You think?
I'm not sure. I would have to go look.
What year was that?
I want to say it was 18-19.
Was it 18? Because they were obviously angling for a top pick and they didn't get it. And is that the year they ended up taking Seider?
Yes, the result would have been Moritz Snyder. So it was not 18-19.
They lost 7 out of the gate in 18-19.
So the year that's in my head is actually the shortened season, 1920, 17-49-5. So they didn't have an opportunity, perhaps, to do it.
They lost that in an 8-game. They actually finished the season.
There's an
8-game winning streak.
Yeah, there's an 8 in the beginning of the year, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in November and December, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So perhaps no tens in there, but
Yeah.
12 and a couple of things that were close to tens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a neighborhood where nobody wants to live,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is I mean, it's stunning. And there's a lot of factors here. We all understand that, but you know, the fact that that play happened on that third goal that Bavillier scored is the number one factor to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate that you saw that, especially in that situation where the Flyers are clawing and fighting, trying to find the game tying goal there. I mean, that's a situation where you would think your team's going to be bearing down and putting forth every ounce of effort that they have in that particular situation, and they just kind of got caught flat footed there. All five of them did, and to an extent, and then they try to recover. The penalty results in that, and then it just carries on into the goal during the delayed call, which was all of 2 seconds, unfortunately. But yeah, you would think at that point there'd be a mindset there to blow something like that out of the water.
Yeah, there needs to this team the last 2 years. And look, when things go bad, it's hard to forge a positive identity, but you need to forge a positive identity. And you go, okay, even if we're going to lose games, we're going to make it hard for the opponent. We're going to make it hard to get to those spots on the ice. And that's the big thing that lacks to me. There's some talent here, you know. You look at some
Right.
guys that are talented, but without talent, without identity, is lacking purpose on the ice. And that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a lack of purpose and, that identity of, you're not coming to that spot. Not, and if you do, you're going to pay. And you're going to think about it twice before you do it again.
Right.
You just can't come in there and we're going to reach our sticks at you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's that kind of, to me, is the same feeling that I've had all year, at least since I don't know, since the start of the first winless streak, the
Yeah.
first gamer. You got the sense that there's these things going wrong, and it's not working, and you don't know why, which is weird because a lot of times you can look at a team and think, okay, they're not they have bad special teams, they have bad defense, they have they don't have a good top six forward group. The Flyers seem to have all that when that streak started, and the wheels started to kind of fall off there, and you just couldn't put your finger on it. And again, we were talking about earlier tonight. It was actually before that streak started. There was about an 18-game stretch there where they couldn't score goals, and
Yeah.
and the 8 games leading into the 10-game winless streak were kind of like where you're sitting there going, what's going on here? Like, what's happened to the offense? What's happened to the power play? And as we watched it, we were talking about earlier tonight, we thought the power play couldn't get any worse, and it just kept getting worse. It's this kind of things that you're watching and you just don't really get why what you're seeing is happening.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and we're going, okay, is this rock bottom? I don't know. I don't know what rock bottom looks like. We thought it was rock bottom in the 10-game winless skid. Then we found out now rock bottom's got a basement. I mean,
And
I I
the
don't
thing
know.
the thing too that continues to perplex me is they've looked better in the last 3 games, including tonight,
Mhm.
than they have in definitely in, I'd say, any point during the first streak.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I
the
agree.
first half of this streak, I still have to put a big fat asterisk on it because of the COVID situation. Uh,
Yeah.
but they've looked better in these last 3 games than they have in some of their wins, and
Mhm.
just haven't gotten it done for one reason or another. Tonight being a hot goaltender, the other night was kind of it was just first period is back and forth. Okay, which goalie is going to crack first? And unfortunately for the Flyers, it was them. But I've been overall relatively pleased with the performance in the last 3 games. But tonight it's the power play opportunities they miss out on, and then that third goal that ends up tanking the rest of it.
I mean, the thing that this is kind of crazy. This team right now is 27th in the NHL in goals for per game at 2.5 goals per game. The Buffalo Sabres are ahead of the Flyers. The only goal they got tonight was a puck that Konechny was trying to throw across the ice, hit off Chara's stick, and then Noah Dobson's shoulder and fooled Sorokin. 2.5 goals per game, tied with Vancouver. The only teams they score more than are Chicago, the Islanders at 2.29, but they've had a miserable start. Arizona at 2.22, Canadians at 2.08. But they're behind teams like the Buffalo Sabres, the Kraken, the Detroit Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the Ottawa Senators. I mean, it's
Yeah.
stunning.
And you look at those teams and you know that they're all having worse seasons than the Flyers are by by several different measures. But it's those goals for it's just kind of perplexing as to why they can't seem to find that consistency, and that's the word to me is consistency is the struggle here. For this team.
Well, the other part of it too is the reason why the Flyers don't have a record as poor as those teams is they've gotten goaltending.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of those teams haven't gotten goaltending, and when you look at the Flyers, you've had. I mean, did you look at this game tonight and go, "Oh, that's on Martin Jones"?
No,
I certainly don't.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not all on the Flyers in general. I think some of it is on Sorokin's performance. It's just that last goal that kind of stands out at you. It's something that kind of bugs you a little bit. Just anecdotally, I have been looking back through a couple of these seasons. Flyers did not come close to anything like that in 16-17, but even the 06-07 season, which was the worst in team history, they had a 10-game winless streak and a 9. The 9-game winless streak ended on game number 48, so that was not in the first half of that season.
Close, yeah.
That's probably about as close as we're getting.
Who was the opponent in game 48?
Oh, I'm going to have to go back a few pages.
Okay. I don't know if you had that right
there. For other years.
No reason. I was just curious if it was the Islanders.
Yeah, they snapped that streak against the Atlanta Thrashers.
Oh, such heritage in Atlanta.
That was game 49.
Kovalchuk on that team?
Probably. It's 2007, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was probably – actually, they were pretty good that year, 43, 28, and 11. I was going to say usually that would be just what the doctor ordered. Kovalchuk was on that team. Braden Coburn was on that team.
Wow.
And you could go to trip down memory lane there. Scott Mellenby was the captain. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've seen something like this happen twice in a year. Flyers had a 10-game winless streak a couple of years back. They were able to rebound and make the playoffs in 2018.
And they had a 10-game win streak and didn't make the playoffs, oddly enough.
Right, yeah, and the year before that in 16-17. Just strange happenings here over the years.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a way that we can get to a headspace that doesn't make us go crazy every day. And I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know. Maybe that's when moves start to get made.
And usually the old saying is winning fixes everything. So again, we are starting a stretch tonight, which you would have liked to see them start a stretch like this with a win, but you're starting a stretch tonight where the Flyers don't have a game against a playoff positioned team on the schedule right now until February 26th. And that's after what's the break in their schedule right now, which is not going to be as long as it currently sits. But this Islanders team, I think, is they're not as bad as their record shows right now, and they're not as bad as the first half of their season showed. And like you said, we said before, it's not who you play necessarily; it's when you play them. And unfortunately, the Flyers didn't get a chance to get them back in November when they were supposed to, or any of those times when they were on hard times. Now you're probably getting an Islanders team 3 games here out of the next 8. That's a little bit settled, a little bit more focused, a little bit back down to earth, if you will, and they just have to fight through it. But again, you got to start. We've seen this before where teams play well and lose, and that's a sign they're going to break out of it. Unfortunately, it's been 3 games where they've done that. So hopefully, number 4 coming up here tomorrow might be the one that breaks them out of the tank. We'll see. But they've got real good opportunities here this week on a fairly busy week to get something established and get going.
Well, it's hard to beat a team 2 days in a row and back to back. So we'll see if that's the case come tomorrow, as these two teams will head to South Philly and they will take on each other at Wells Fargo Center, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, not
Yep.
7:30 like it was.
And we should note that tomorrow is another ESPN Plus game.
Mm.
Will not find the game on traditional television. You'll have to stream it if you're looking to watch it. Of course, we will be here, and we'll have our pregame show tomorrow, Tuesday night. So we'll be on 97.5 The Fanatic for the full pregame show, and we'll be here with you for the postgame show as well. But it is a streaming exclusive tomorrow night on ESPN Plus.
All right. Well,
if you look at your schedule and you see Detroit, it's not wrong. It was changed. This was supposed to be a game against Detroit tomorrow, but there was a schedule change back on January 4th, and now it is against the Islanders. So
I still have the OG. I got the OG printed schedule from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I am using it too. I'm waiting for them to reschedule these other games before I update it and send it out. But I'm getting where I probably should just do it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I got tired of waiting for you guys. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Let's put a wrap on it. Let's thank our in-studio engineer. That would be Pat Egan. Pat, who was on highlights tonight? Mike Merget on highlights. Oh, I haven't talked to Merget in a long time. Betsy Deming. Or not, Betsy didn't do the game tonight. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates.
She still did a good job wherever she is.
Yes, she did. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody. All right. Thanks, Pat. All right, I got nothing else to say.
That's about it, hey? We did have one question. I guess we
can't be out of words completely because I have.
We have one question. I guess we could address on the stream here. We didn't get to it on the air. We did get a tweet wondering if the team should go into tanking mode and fire sale everybody and go after that top pick.
Shame, right?
Yeah, it's you're never going to get a team to actually say they're tanking. Will the Flyers be sellers at the deadline if this hasn't improved? I think, by all means, they probably will be. And you can probably send Martin Jones to a contender, especially the way goaltending is going right now in this league. You can probably send him to a contender. I think I'm not concerned too much about this season wearing on Carter Hart. I'm pretty sure he's pretty well aware it's not his fault. This is not on goaltending by any sense of the imagination, but they got to figure out the defense and get things settled. And if they can't, then I mean, you've got some pieces here that you could turn around for future assets if this season keeps going the way it is. Yeah, no doubt. Well, there'll be plenty to talk about. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Yep, you got it. All right, streamers. We'll see you guys. See ya.